state presented no evidence as to manifest prostitution, to solicit prostitution, no intent by Ms. Jones on May 17, 2013 to indicate that she was manifesting an intent to commit prostitution. We ask you to find her not guilty, Judge. Thank you.
The defendant having acknowledged, admitted a record of not too long ago, less than 2 years ago, of a prior conviction, a motive to avoid a mandatory 30-day sentence would be something that I can't ignore. When evaluating the credibility of the witnesses in front of me, I do find that the state's met its burden. I'm going to find the defendant guilty. Counsel approach.
You know full well she was protesting Project Rose, and this was retaliation.
Okay.
The police had more motive to lie than she did.
What?
It's okay. It's okay.
It's not okay.
But guilty of what?
It's okay. It's okay. They did their job. That's what their job is.
This is a miscarriage of
Guilty
justice.
of what?
It's okay.
You don't belong in jail.
I was taught in school never to assume. And basically they're saying their assumption is fact. And your assumption is not a fact about me, it's just your assumption. These zoning laws where they are saying non-prostitute areas are in low-income areas. And so this affects women, especially women of color and women living in poverty, because like I said at the press conference, if I was a white woman walking in Arcadia, I would never have been stopped for manifestation. Even at the UN being discriminated. Like the UN's like all about human rights and like treaties and everything else. And then as a trans woman of color, going into the UN and my experience there was not the greatest experience. Trying to get my credentials and have a meeting with this woman who was so hostile towards me, like misgenderifying me, going to tell her friends about who I am. She was like, Monsieur, Monsieur. Oh, I said, Mademoiselle. She said, oh, Mademoiselle. I'm like, bitch, you just come for me. You just checked my passport. And knowing what she was doing, because it happens to me so many times in my life. And so to be like here at the UN happening here, you're like, wow, it shouldn't have shocked me, but it did because I thought the UN had a little bit more prestige. She wanted to confront me on my anger about the way she was treating me. If you have anything to say it to me. And so, you know, me being from the hood, that was like a call for a reaction. And so, I say, yes, your attitude, your body language, and everything is so hostile towards me. You're not being polite, you being rude and everything else. And she got mad because I said she was being rude. She said, I've been nothing. I said, no, you have not. And so I said, give it to your supervisor over here. And I told the supervisor how this is a UN, and this is the UN. And she's the first person someone meets at the UN. It doesn't give a great appearance about the UN. No matter what, trans women are swept under the rug and discriminated. And so much of our story is being shut out.
I'm really glad that I'm not here by myself. I'm glad that I'm not the only Black trans woman here. A lot of times we find ourselves in these spaces where we are alone and we have to champion these causes.
Sometimes I feel like I have to be, that I'm just like a one-trick pony, that I have to just talk about sex worker issues. And when people want to hear me speak, they want to hear about sex worker issues. And so it's time for me to narrate my own life and be my own author.
Manifesting Monica Jones is an inspirational story of an amazing black transgender activist here in Tucson and Phoenix who was arrested and turns that arrest around and fights for her life and starts creating excellent spaces for the black trans community, in fact the whole trans community here in Tucson. We've been filming together since 2012. That was before Monica was arrested. She was arrested in 2013 after protesting a rights violating diversion program known as Project Rose. She was arrested in 2013, so we've been filming for several years after that. So it's basically 10 years of footage that's being put together. And part of the twists and turns of her story is that the sting operation that arrested Ms. Jones was coming out of her own university through the Department of Social Work with a collaboration with the local police and other service providers. So she had struggled for many years as a black trans woman to get accepted into ASU, the local university, a well-known university, Arizona State University. And just as she was about to embark on her social work degree, she was arrested by her own department. They were involved in the arrest. So can you imagine finishing your degree under those circumstances? But she did. Wow. She went on after fighting 2 years to clear her name and have those charges vacated. She was arrested for the very ridiculous local charge in Phoenix. It's called manifesting the intent to prostitute. Basically, it's a law that, or a local ordinance that directly targets anyone that the police think is walking or looking or acting like a prostitute on the street. So a lot of trans people are targeted with that law. So after she essentially won, she got her case vacated. She went on to found the Outlaw Project, which is a project here in Arizona and by and for trans people. And she's founded a tiny homes project in Tucson, creating amazing, culturally relevant and safe spaces for all queer communities in this city.
What's your name?
Beyonce.
Beyonce. So you saw the film.
I'm from Uganda.
Oh, you're from Uganda. Nice. You saw Manifesting Monica Jones, right?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
My opinion about the movie was that I was surprised to see that trans people also, they can be incarcerated in this country, more especially those who are into sex work, because you know they don't like that because they have nothing to do. The only thing that we can do with trans people it is engaging in sex work.
Yeah.
So it was sad for me to see her being incarcerated. You know, she didn't work. She was like she almost, you know, left school because she was struggling with money to pay for school fees, but also like her degree was almost being pulled. Then the other thing that I liked about the movie, like she was with her mom all the time, or you know that she was with her family.
Yeah.
And like for me, back in my country, I can't go back to my family. I can't interact with my family because I'm trans.
Yeah.
People hate me and they mistake me to be gay.
And do you get persecuted or you get put in prison in your country, back in your country?
Too.
Okay.
But that's why I'm saying my opinion on this movie. I'm surprised to hear that also here people can be concentrated, and yet me, I come here in this country to seek for asylum, to seek for refugee, thinking that I'm coming to heaven.
You thought it was free country that is happening. It's like the same, almost the same persecution and
so like,
gotcha.
So my whole takeaway is like that. I think all the trans issues or LGBT issues in the world are the same. Thank you.
Thank you very
much. I got to see this amazing, beautiful film that showcases the life and struggles of Monica, an inspirational black woman who faced incarcerations and systems of oppression, and so she was targeted by ASU and turned into the police.
And where are you from?
I'm from Bogota.
Bogota. Okay, so in your country, do you have the same persecution, the same targeting?
And so it's been the same kind of oppression that Monica faces. Sex work and the criminalization and the way that it's condemned different kinds of institutions. In Colombia, it's the Catholic Church, and the way that it's done.
Do you feel surprised that you come to this country and you find the same thing happens in here?
I'm not surprised, because the patriarchy and systems of oppression that have been laid by colonialism and by systems of imperialism are the same here as they are pretty much in the rest of the world. Anti-blackness is something that the United States stands by. It's something that has been pushed in Colombia. It's something that no matter where you go, queer and trans people are always prosecuted and treated as lesser, and we're denied our agency, we're denied our power. And this is a beautiful film because it showcases the ways in which we excel and succeed, and even against our struggles, we're able to combat, people and powers and these systems that would seem like they can't be broken, but they can be.
Is it getting easier in Colombia?
To be honest, I think the vice president, who is an amazing black woman who's done incredible ecological activism and stuff, has really been pushing for a lot of social change. But it takes a black woman in power. It takes mobilization in order to be able to do stuff. And they're still facing off against conservatives who want to maintain the status quo, who want to maintain these systems of hierarchies and oppression, and those things are the same over here with MAGA people and conservative Republicans, and those two powers speak hand in hand. George Bush and all of those conservatives, all of those Republicans, they've put a lot of hate into Colombia. They fueled the drug war that destroyed the country, and you can't pull those two things apart. And the incarcerated people over here, the trans women that are incarcerated and persecuted over here, well, those people are part of the same systems of oppression, of imperialism that the United States has tried to put over the entire world, like in Palestine, like in any part of pretty much Africa, any part that there's a U.S. base, like there are like 15 or 16 or 17 or 20, whatever it is here in Tucson. All of those systems of oppression, all of those systems of military, they're meant to kill people who are brown and black and to target those trans and queer people. I think the church has a lot of reckoning to do with its history. It has to challenge the way in which it committed genocide, and it has to recognize the way in which people have taken it up as something that was imposed on them, and the way in which a lot of indigenous and black communities have taken the things that were put on top of them by colonization and turned into something beautiful. I think the church has to reckon with its homophobia, its transphobia, its pedophilia, the way in which it continues to stand by systems that kill women and support essentially the power of men. Priests are celibate, men that have never had any interactions for the most part with women and are completely divorced from their agencies. And so, there's very good priests like people that are doing work with sex activists in Colombia, and those people that choose to open their churches and welcome and challenge those systems of power are often silenced by those very institutions. And so there's people that are doing work on all the sides, and we have to highlight that, and at the same time combat those institutions from inside and outside. It's going to be Catholics and Christians who tear down the churches. And so if they want to keep up their religion, if they want to keep up whatever they're doing, they have to do it with activism and the struggles of the people who have been sacrificed in the name of religion.
Thank you very much. That's very wise words. You did it perfectly. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, awesome.
Thank you so much.
Are we filming?
Yes.
That's fine. Okay.
That's fine. You can be in it. So tell me, what are we right now, first of all?
So we're at the Sex Worker Film Festival after party. My name is Monica Jones. I'm with the Outlaw Project, a co-sponsor of the Sex Worker Film Festival. And so this is just like a little after party where people can...
So tell me about the film today. How do you feel like it came out in big screen?
So I didn't watch all of it. I was there and I left because a lot of times I don't like seeing myself on TV and hearing myself talk. And it gets my anxiety going, and so, but I know the overarching story of it because I worked very closely with PJ, and I know that it's a 10-year process of me and my journey. So it started when I was, I want to say 28, and all the way until I was like a couple of years ago. So it's a long process in my journey, and you can see how throughout the film and throughout how long the film is going that I changed. My speaking is changed, and I'm more comfortable in front of the camera. And so I think it does show the evolution of me. And it also shows that I'm not just that trial. Hopefully that comes across that this happens and this is happening afterwards. And so I think a lot of people get from TV that the United States is free, but they don't understand the undercurrent of racism that many African Americans and people of color face here and migrants face here. And so they group us together as a melting pot, but we're not. And so we all have our own dialect, our own culture, and our own subgroups that we belong to. And so what you see on the TV is not true. And so there's poverty here, there's transphobia here. And we struggle with our identity every day. And so it's not glamorous, but if you fight for it, you can't just take it laying down because this country will walk right over you. So you've got to have like that drive. And I hope if they watch the documentary, they see that you have to fight just for a seat at the table. And it's not just given to you.
Yeah. Are you hopeful in the next election?
I'm not hopeful. I feel like we were told, trans people were told to shut up and wait for marriage equality. And now this is the reaction, the backlash to that, right? It's just saying if they come for me at night, they will come for you in the morning. And so sex worker rights has been under attack in this country for a long time. That was the precursor to gender and abortion and women's health issues, right? And so it's been a long history of women's issues being pushed to the back, but also intertwined with that, trans issues, women of color issues. And so we always got to wait for the second wave of feminists. And we always have to wait for a new wave to catch up. And so hopefully in the future, when we abolish patriarchy and hierarchy and the prison industrial system and all these other systems, then we can hope for a better future.
Your community trying to stay positive and happy. How do you keep up with that happiness? Is that a real happiness, or is just a fake happiness just to entertain your minds and don't get deep into depression of all the things that you guys are going through?
So we want to be very careful because New York is its own thing. And so for each people that lives in their own state, because everyone looks at the U.S. as a blanket, but we have different sub-states. We have states, and those states have their own laws and everything. And so it is very diced up and chopped up. So you can be happy in New York, right? You can be happy in L.A., but you can also be unhappy in New York because you're a black trans woman, right? You can be unhappy in California or here or in the South, or you can be happy in the South because you're part of the dominant group there. And so people can be happy in their own bubble. I can be happy here in Tucson in the space at Splinter or at the Outlaw House or at my family's house in Phoenix. And I can be unhappy somewhere else because I don't have that support system. So the message of the documentary is that you have to fight for your rights. You can't just say no, but then it's also the evolution of someone who says no, right? And it's not just like she said no. She said no and she did all these things. She fought for her rights and then she did all these amazing things. She started her own organization. She spoke at the United Nations. And so it's not just saying no. It's about saying no, but then what are you doing when she say no? What are you doing after you say no? How are you building your how are you lifting up your voice? Because you said no. A lot of people did not say no. So what are you doing now?
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to add?
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.
All right. So give a shout out to the people in New York.
Hey, New York. I love you guys. I can't wait to be there and on the 9th. And I can't wait to go to Broadway and see all the Broadway plays. Thank you.
And tonight you have a special guest, which is Miss Beverly Hills. Is going to be here?
Hills with a Z.
Beverly Hills.
From the Ozark. She was on RuPaul Drag Race.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, I thought she said not a silken clock. And I thought it was something. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I was thinking not a silken clock. But then one side said, oh, she's saying not a silken clock. And I said, that makes a lot of sense now. So.
Well, you're arriving in a perfect time.
I love this lady right here. So whenever she calls me, whatever it is, I come for whatever she wants.
Because they said last minute, they got it. They was like, well, Monica girl is going to be y'all afford. I'm like, our budget not that big, baby, but like I don't know what's her speaking budget or what's her budget. And I said, okay, well, let me see.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
It's like, okay, we got you. So how do you like Tucson?
I like it. It's really fun.
You been to Phoenix yet?
No, I never been to Arizona.
Get you out there to Phoenix, girl. That's where the
people
club.
keep saying that's like the city like
that's the city,
right?
Yeah. Oh, this is like the 1970s in Tucson.
I woke up to this. I feel like I'm in a damn movie.
Yeah,
I got a movie set,
and the name of the movie is Get Out.
See, I feel so bad.
Don't bother me. It's all about getting out the message, having a good time, and doing your thing.
Yeah. On that same note, how do you feel being here tonight?
I feel excited. I love stuff like this, especially uplifting sex work and sex workers. And me being a sex worker myself, I just love to be able to give back, you know, and to be able to experience other people like myself.
So you're gonna be singing tonight?
Huh? Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna be singing, lip syncing.
You're gonna be doing your best.
Yes, my best.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. When did you get here?
I got here yesterday.
Yesterday? So no time to explore.
Oh, last time we went out. And then today, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we're good.
Cool. That's good. Awesome. And when are you gonna be in New York City?
In New York City, actually next week.
No kidding.
Yeah, we'll be in New York City next week.
Oh, okay.
Are you too?
Yeah. What days?
We're going from the 9th to the 11th.
Yeah, I'm so proud of everything that she's done. I'm so proud of the woman she's grown into. You've calmed down a taste. But I'm so proud of all the accomplishments that she's done. I'm so proud of the rooms that she's able to enter into and hold her own. Because this was the shyest little thing in the world. She was like quiet as a church mouse, but now she is using her voice, and anything she wants to do, I will support. At any time. She says, we're doing a fish fry on Tuesday, guess what I'm doing? I'm frying fish on Tuesday. So whatever she does, and the work that she does is extremely important. A lot of times, oftentimes trans women, especially trans women of color, we're often relegated to being two things in our community, and that's an entertainer and or escort or both. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just what's available to us. The community as a large doesn't always give us opportunities that we deserve. So, I think once they take away the stigma of sex work, and people understand, it's okay for boys to do it, but it's not okay for the girls to do it. And as being an entertainer, your life as well, that we can travel, we can be on stage at a bar, and then on Saturday night have our pictures all over the place. But some bars still in America, at least still to me, and then you go there Sunday, you're not made welcome. That still exists.
There's still ones held in Chicago. I'm not going to mention stuff like that, but...
You can mention it! What they going to do?
No.
Listen, I'll be in Chicago on the 31st. I need to go.
So what's the show? Like, I should not show up, so give me the link. So.
No. I'm just saying, there's certain bars that still look at you that certain way. Like,
well, I'll mention some bars here in Arizona. We have Charlie's in Phoenix. They charge women and trans women to get in.
Charlie's?
In the door. Charlie's in Phoenix. Because I went to the Charlie's in Denver and LA and a few other places, but the one in Phoenix. Yeah. So that's just the way that they are there. My niece Kenya Sanchez and all them are there. Yes. So, but it's just that location. So I think it's, and the owner of James King, who's the owner of most of the Charlie's, he lives in Phoenix. So him and his partner love me to death, but for some reason, I think Michael Wiederman, the manager, has an issue with trans. The Inez said it.
Yes.
Because I go in easy. That's INEZ. I don't mind. So I don't mind calling them out. They're not getting my dollars anyway. So, I think once we take a stand and stop giving money to people who don't want our money or deserve our money, the better off we'll stay. And I'm going to say this one more time for the camera. In 42 years of being an entertainer, 98% of the clubs I work at are owned by gay white men, whose clientele is primarily gay white men, and I work with other entertainers who are usually gay white men. So I know as a black trans woman, the only thing I can ever be walking through that door is a professional entertainer. Because somebody wants to fuck me. They're not trying to get in like that. Yeah. I don't do dope, I don't drink, so the only thing I can give for you is an entertainment value, and you can run me my check.
Yeah. I keep the rest of the bullshit to yourself.
I don't even need to know what it's about, because I'm not going to be there for any of it. Keep it moving. It's unfortunate. Most gay bars that I've been in contact, and I said like 98% of the ones that I do, I travel the country. Just got back from Boston, you know, I will be going to San Antonio and Texas and Chicago and all that. 9 times out of 10, people of color, we're relegated to being entertainment, whether that's drag queen or a stripper, or we work the front door in security. You know, it's sad to say, other than in extremely urban areas, I don't see black bartenders, black bar backs. I don't see black people as bar managers.
Chicago's just started, no shade, getting progressive like that.
Isn't that crazy though to think
yes,
that?
Boys Town was, you know what Boys Town was.
It's what they should call a white boys town.
Yes, but now it's getting a little bit, I mean, they still have a long ways to go, but it's good to see that.
You can't make me believe that in a community, if the gay community is a microcosm of the larger community, which is made up of so many different diverse people, you can't make me think that people of color, trans people, lesbians are not filling out applications to work at gay clubs. So how can you want to make feel welcome someplace when you walk in, you don't see anybody that look like you there? Exactly. You know, there's a reason why Walmart and Target have diverse pictures in their.
And they want to be diverse by giving you a Beyonce night, and you know how that goes.
We got Hennessy on special.
That's offensive. Beyonce night doesn't mean that you're being progressive and you're doing a lot for us. You're doing nothing.
No. So I make money in the clubs, and I don't give the money back to those clubs because they don't want to give money back to me or people who look like me, and that's extremely important for me.
That's the same way I feel. It's like, you know what, I work too hard to go certain places and to be treated a certain way, you know, and then to be like, not feel like, okay, this is not helping me in any way. I don't feel successful doing this. I just feel like I'm doing it because I need a coin right now.
If I can teach anybody a word, that word is called usury. If they're using you, you need to use them. You need to get what you can on them. So where I work, either and the other thing is be prepared to sit at home. Because if you can't make what I want you to pay me, then I'll sit at home. I have no problem sitting at home. Back to me. RuPaul is transphobic. RuPaul is one of those black people that if she could take a pill to be white, she'd take 6.
Watch our Latino show.
The Latino show. I'm so excited.
This is a famous actor right here. But we would all just have to watch your show. It's about to begin. It's going to be a lot of fun watching Latino TV.
Beautiful.
Latino.
Kiss me again.
Passion commune.
You're watching on the Latino show.
It's free.
How can I forget? My husband hasn't missed it.
I haven't missed one.
Thank
you for taking your time.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully I'll have those shoes on.
Going home and getting naked.
Too good to be true.
Thank you.
Someday we'll get those shoes.